अरे चाचू बुला के दिव्यांश
बुलाती है
सब बुलाते हैं उसने शुरू किया ना मैं साइन किया
I think we're on time for surgery. Trick है
हो गया ना वो
what so many days you forget also what we are
ओके
नाम है नहीं ये मत पढ़ो
people in the
नाम है
front
नहीं माया
what happened to me
I had that 6 years
विजय मैं साइन आउट करूं नहीं
अरे एक और अकाउंट मैम ऑल्टरनेटिव
add account
मैम ऐड अकाउंट
जैसे मैम को आता ही नहीं ऐसे
नहीं मेरे को सिखा रहे हैं लोग पता नहीं आपको
यही पढ़ा
और मैं करके दूं क्या
हां वही दैट्स वन लेफ्ट
बस पासवर्ड बता
यस
बहुत अच्छी है
आगे वो जो लोग
नहीं अंधेरा ही सही है
भाई
मैम शो पासवर्ड
देख के बेटा ना बहुत मारूंगी बस सुई भोंकूंगी
हां उधर से स्टार्टिंग फ्रॉम देयर देन दिस चाइल्ड
व्हाई आर यू स्टूडिंग नई ड्राइंग्स बना दी
फ्रॉम दिस साइड
व्हाई मैं पहली बार वो ऑलरेडी
पहली बार और आखिरी बार चल जरा बड़ा अवार्ड विन कर रहा है
इधर देखा ना बहुत मारूंगी आके चलो मुझे बीच में बैठवा दो इधर बोला ना सही अरे तो राज को दे अरे वो डोर के बीच में कहां से लेते हो चोरी
उसको दबाना भी रहता है
So what is triumph in surgery all about?
अलग अलग आता है देखा मैथ्स और
क्या है
Which paragraph we were on? I am asking you which paragraph we were on.
अभी finished the
and we finished the chapter
yes
yes ma'am
that's what I was saying
और तब तक लेक्चर खत्म हो गया
yes ma'am
We finished?
yes
Okay. What was this one chapter about?
and the story
Ma'am,
was
the
about
story was,
a dog and her loveful mistress
and बोलने फिर एक बोलने बोलना बोल रहा है
अरे कुछ बोलता भी है
थोड़ा सा
Fast.
मेरे से अब तू बोल रहा था हमको रुका दिया
Yes.
and the story is about there is a one dog
Name.
name Tricky he was very fat
obese
he was very fat
Fine.
the owner of the dog was giving him giving him anything like cakes and all that. So that's
You need
why
to know what she was giving him.
cod liver oil
cakes,
cod
biscuits,
licks
And
cakes,
cakes treats
milk,
wine
biscuits, Oreo,
wine
अच्छा ओरियो वगैरह सब. That you write in the exam.
I'm going to get 8 years old and Stanford and
Can you also
I don't mind. I didn't say he don't see and tell.
my this mistress he was seriously ill by obesity and then
Where were you? Huh?
Got late because it was onboarding. There was some shifting procedure going on, so I got 2 times. Then pulled off goods. So I think, I'm so sorry, ma'am.
It's okay, sit down.
That job was a complete done and she took him to the doctor and the doctor said that he is very seriously ill.
The doctor said that clearly that he was very seriously ill.
Because of the weight, he can't move.
So,
If it will be continuing like this, then he will not be healthy.
then
Okay, so then when Ricky fell ill, Dr. Harriet got a call from the mistress, and then he knew that the call was expected. So then he went to get Ricky, and then everyone in the house was like,
Very sad and very sorrowful that he was coming down.
and then Dr. Harriet took him to the surgery, and he didn't give him all the fancy on the teeth, put him in a box, and then just gave him water for 2 days so they could wash out everything. On the third day, he was like whimpering and taking interest in his surroundings. Then he started between the other dogs. Like there was a
He
great
started licking them.
why was Ricky falling sick?
because of
And she was
overeating.
Overfeeding.
So what basically was
The food she was
the owner doing to Tricky?
And she was basically
Spoiling him. So what was the theme of the story?
Ma'am, the thing was the story is not love.
Not love.
Very
good.
excessive love
Excessive
will be
kindness.
Ah.
harmful. Excessive
Not
love is
harmful. You may have
Unnecessary
known, but other
love
person
can
it
be
could harm
your
other
fatal
person.
for the young.
bad, good, or
Thank you. What else?
Stay there.
Huh? Read if you're reading, read it loudly.
This is the lesson in pass on message for the one suggesting them to uphold the responsibility. The age should not start unnecessary love to their young ones as they might get. It might be
That you have to be responsible with your actions, and excessive love can be dangerous or harmful for others. I remember I told you about even your parents pampering you, you become very stubborn, you become very headstrong because you're getting it very easily. Understood? And that's why it was very dangerous for Tricky, because what happened, she overstuffed him and that's why he fell sick. Remember Tricky was vomiting. He was bouts of vomiting because he had eaten so much that his intestine couldn't take more, his stomach couldn't take more. And that's what it was, you're puking. Sometimes when you overstuff yourself, it happens. You keep on vomiting then. You fall sick. Just keep it with you on this one after the video. Or after that meeting. Understood? So now, since we finished that, we will do the poem of fire and ice. Okay. Or we dust of snow is first, or fire and ice is first. Dust of snow is first. Okay. Because they are same, the same portion of it. Okay. So,
I'm written the first right.
dust of snow.
Jump.
So about the author, this is the author. This is how he looks. He was born. He was born in 20. Huh? No, we didn't start this because I had completed trial for surgery and we had stopped. I said next class I will do this. This you must have started in the school. Okay. Born on March 26 March 1874, San Francisco, California, United States, and he died in 1963, Boston, Massachusetts, in United States. Okay. Robert Lee Frost was an American poet.
And the first was big.
It's a short poem. It is too big because if you understand the meaning, you will in life. As I said, Robert Frost, when he writes, it has a lot of metaphorical meaning to it. If you understand that meaning, poems are very metaphorical. Metaphorical, you know what a metaphor, right? What is metaphor? When you compare, correct. When you compare with something, it is very metaphorical. If you read this poem, it's a very simple poem. But if you read the deep meaning of the poem, you'll understand what life is all about. Our whole emotions are revolving around it. Robert E. Frost was an American poet. His works were initially published in England before it was published in America. So basically, he was born where he was born in England, and then he died in America. If you see the United States, he died. He is highly regarded as a realistic depiction of rural life. So whenever you read Robert Frost, you will talk about farms, you talk about forests, you talk about nature. Okay, it's like his poems revolving around that. So rural life is basically the village life what we talk about. Frost was honored frequently during his lifetime, receiving for Pulitzer Prize for poetry. Please read my through this.
The Pulitzer Prize is an award for achievements in newspaper, magazine, online journalism, literature, and musical composition within the United States.
It's a very highly esteemed, honored prize. Okay, when you get it, it's like the kind of the Nobel Prize of literature. Understood? And Robert Frost is one of those poets who's really well, that his poems are read throughout the world.
Simplicity is a hallmark of Frost's poems.
So his poems are not very complicated. It's simple language. You do not have a lot of vocabulary words in that what we search for it. But it's very deep poems. Okay. Dust of snow. So you look at this. It's a simple picture. There's a crow. There's a tree. There's snow on this one, and there is a map. Not Robert Frost. There is a map. We are not assuming that it is Robert Frost. It's a simple picture. It doesn't have anything complicated in it. It's a very simple poem. But if you understand the poem, it's very deep. So what are the words? Dust of snow is basically this powder of snow. Okay. Hemlock tree is this. This is the coniferous tree. It's a poisonous tree. Okay. And it has small white flowers, and it is in the snow when it is when it snows, it is covered like this. Looks like a kind of a Christmas tree if you see, because it's the coniferous that's visible. Mood, your mood is your state of mind, right? And then mood is when you're feeling very sorrowful or very pitiful, or you're feeling very regretful. Why I have done this, why I have got that. Now, if you see a crow, what is a crow? What does a crow represent? Evil. Okay, what else?
Dark.
Mysterious. What else? Bad luck. What else?
That Maleficent.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a raven.
It's a raven. It's not a crow. But I saw a raven who looked, basically I couldn't understand whether it was a raven or a crow.
They're quite bigger and have more feathers.
Yeah. Bad omen.
Good scavengers.
That's the other way around. We're looking at the society's perception of crows.
No, it's not. Scavengers.
Scavengers. Crows. Bird. Symbol.
What does it symbolize?
You gave me so many things. At least something from that you could pick up. Bad luck, bad omen, yes. What else a crow symbolizes?
Negativity.
Negativity, good. What else? Black. Black is again a symbol of something, right?
Yes, black.
Black color is what? Negativity, yes. What else?
I'm a specific word.
I'm looking for different words. I'm not looking. You've given me a lot of words, and I want you to give me more words. Because see, you cannot limit yourself.
Evil dog, bad.
Cynical.
Cynical. Come on, you cannot give me quality for crow.
And they're very evil, like mean.
They symbolize evil. They're not mean. Birds.
I don't know. Yeah, they symbolize because you know they
They
eat
do that
babies of like smaller birds.
But that is life, isn't
I
it?
know, but the
To
dishes
survive
symbolize-
your, that is your their food. If you eat non-veg, we are mean. Are we mean? Then why a crow is mean? Because it is doing what it eats. It eats what it eats. That is not called mean. See, that's why they don't associate with that. Because it cannot be mean. It eats, like we also kill animals and eat. So that's also called a mean action. You can't call us mean, but right? Because we are doing it because it is a part of our diet. Understood. The difference is that you can't associate with that quality. Okay. Rude is clear. The meaning will be struck. Now, where the setting of the poem, it is winterly, outdoors. That's why I showed you the picture. It is outdoors. It is winters. The snow atop a hemlock tree. Hemlock tree is a poisonous tree. Again, it is a symbol of darkness, a symbol of negativity when we talk about it. Okay? It is a coniferous tree. Usually grows on hillside on the North America. Coniferous trees, you know what are coniferous trees, correct? It has those sharp kind of needles, kind of leaves, correct? Like how your Christmas tree is. That is also a coniferous tree. The leaves are very, very sharp.
and they're shaped like
Yeah, and they shape like a conical shape. Okay, it's a small waxy and usually has narrow leaves, needles or flat scales. Coniferous means that it is cone-bearing tree. That's why the word coniferous came. Okay, so this is the setting. Now stanza 1. The way a crow shook down on me the dust of snow from a hemlock tree. Simple. He's standing there. There's a crow who came and sat on this hemlock tree, and when it sat, all the dust, the snow fell on him. Okay, simple, very very simple poem. But now you have to think, what does a crow symbolize? It shows the mood of that particular person who's very dark, very upset, very negative, very pessimistic type. And that particular thing, and hemlock also symbolizes that. It is a poisonous tree, right? So that poison in your head, in your mind, that has given my heart a change of mood and saved some part of a day I had improved. He says, my heart at that particular time I was very, very upset, very, very down, very, very, but that snow falling on me, it woke me up. It woke me up to possibilities. It woke me up to see, I shouldn't, what I was regretful about, I shouldn't. There are so many things I can do with my life. I can do. In life, you are always going to be down. You're always going to be down. There's always going to be negativity. But there are going to be instances in your life which suddenly will lift up your mood, will change or will make you look at the positive side rather than the negative side. So, as I said, the crow and hemlock is the symbol of negativity, and the dust of snow, when it falls, it shows him that there are more possibilities in life. Simple poem, but when you understand, as I said, you understand the poem, it has very deep meaning. Rude, as I said, you're very regretful, very sorrowful. Okay? No, I'm talking to somebody. So, this poem tells a very simple and very large significance. As I said, the poem mentioned crow and hemlock in this poem. Both represent negativity, and this crow signifies his depressive and sorrowful mood. Very depressive, very sorrowful. That time. And hemlock is a poisonous tree. Both signify that the poet is not in a good mood. When you are very, very down, when you are at the bottom of your life, that kind of mood it is. Okay? And so he describes the dark, depressive, and bitter side of nature to present this similar mood. As I said, symbol, crow, hemlock. Both are supposed to be absolutely negative. Okay, and that's why he's in a very pessimistic mood. And he's used those symbols of nature to show how he is feeling. Okay. The poet says that once he was in a sad, depressive mood and was sitting under a hemlock tree. A crow sitting on the same tree shook off the dust of snow, that is, small particles might remain on the surface of the snowfall on the poet. This simple action changed the poet's mood. he realized that he had just wasted a part of his day repenting and being lost in sorrow. Like, you know, you in your life, there are moments which will come which you will feel very, very sorrowful. You are in a very depressive mood. And like, you know, when that something comes and wakes you up, you realize that you wasted a part of your life in just being depressed instead of taking some positive action. Instead of getting out of that mood, instead of getting, like, you know, holding your life with its horns, when we say. That means taking charge of your life. You are just being depressive and sad. So he realized that he's wasting away his life. The poet realized when the snow falls on him that he's wasting away his life instead of moving on with the life. And we will have, there are going to be instances where we'll be absolutely depressed. When your marks comes, that's a current scenario. When your marks come, you're absolutely depressed. But then you can learn from that and you can take a positive step towards it, right? So that. But the change in his mood made him realize that he should utilize the rest of the day in some useful activity. So that snow made him realize that he can do better in his life. And his sorrow washed away by the light shower of snow. That his spirit was revived and he got ready to utilize the rest of the day. And he
similar as a positive.
Yeah, it's a positive energy. It's a positive, like, you know, white is supposed to be peace, calm. It's supposed to be positive, correct? And that's why, in contrast, you have your crow and the hemlock. Okay, now I'll show you the literary devices. Clear with this poem?
Yes, ma'am.
You are yes, ma'am. They are lost. So your literary device is alliteration, H sound, S sound. Okay, this is your literary devices. Metaphor, mass of snowflakes atop with dust, the dust of snow. Compares. You have to write this down. Don't look at it, go to sleep. In your textbook, mark it as alliteration and metaphor. You don't have to write it like that. Just write alliteration and metaphor in your textbooks. As given H and H underline, S and S, write alliteration. Then mass of snowflakes and dust of snow, that is metaphor. The snowflakes are compared with dust of snow. You didn't bring your textbook. Textbook. Synecdoche. These, then you will understand.
It's the description of different things. So symbolize the particular thing.
Simple one person for the whole. Like, for example, for heart for the whole person. That is a synecdoche. Like the crown for the king. Like that. When you refer to the crown, we are not referring to the crown. We are referring to the king. Like that. That is a synecdoche. So your heart is referring to the poet. The poet's mood has got understood, not the heart. You can write if you want.
He said that
It, like, for example, when I say crown representing the king, like that, the heart represents the poet. That is a synecdoche. Like that.
So wings represent soaring high, so it's also synecdoche.
No.
It's different.
And wings representing nature.
No.
Then
Soaring high.
Nothing.
Angel is that ring.
Halo.
Ma'am, no.
Halo is sanctuary. Fairies.
Now what is enjambment?
Enjambment is when
No punctuation marks.
yes, I was going to show that, but since you all have said, when in the lines of the poem there is normally a comma or full stop, suddenly in the middle of the line you'll find a comma or a full stop, that is an enjambment in different places. See, continues to next line without any punctuation marks.
Ma'am, this poem
In
has
jam.
only one punctuation. Only one punctuation.
That's why that's what is an enjambment. It is continuing without a punctuation mark. That is an enjambment. Rhyming scheme A, B, and then A, B. Symbol, very important. Symbol is very, very important. Hemlock tree, symbol of death. Poisonous tree.
Point.
Either what is poison? Poison क्या होता है?
वो poison होता है आपको poison होता है अरे मतलब क्या बोलते हैं
And he's
जैसे
saying
सांप का
like
है
the person would not die on the spot. It will
हाँ,
take time.
I agree, but this is a symbol I'm talking about.
हाँ, simple सही
Symbol of death. Okay, walking by the hemlock tree could be in fact seen like ill omen. So again, it is a symbol of ill omen. And the poet could have been upset further, but on the contrary, it brought him happiness.
What is ill?
bad vibe
Bad luck, evil,
I know bad omen is
a cat, black cat crossing your road.
And
It is considered omen is a sign. When I say ill omen, that means something wrong is going to happen. That is known as ill omen. That is simple. It is a bad sign. Like as we said, in India we have this superstition that if not only in India, it's not only in India, all over the world it is like a black cat crosses your way. Yeah, you have to go back 10 this one and then go
we
up.
should wait
Yes, ma'am. Wait for 2 minutes. Then.
That's a thank you. I didn't know
For
this
some,
superstition.
we
Thank you
should
so
wait
much.
for someone to
मैं एक
pass.
बार मेरे साथ हुआ था
That I have heard. You have to wait for somebody
मेरे
to
साथ
cross.
एक बार हुआ था मैं यूं चल
I every time do that.
आई वो
See,
बिल्ली आई
educated person is doing that.
मैं बिल्ली आई ऐसे
Ma'am,
what about some other person who will cross that line?
अरे मैं यही होता सर्च कुछ
Educated.
black cat is supposed to be a bitch who's in the form of a cat
Yeah,
Ask the key.
you're very good
that's what I'm saying. Educated people.
Ma'am, you have that Hindu witch
Yeah, that
you
also.
should like cross it will die
No, it's very bad luck. It brings bad luck.
Yes, it breaks bad. If you put on cards, etc. So that accident will happen.
you put that scorpio and go at night and then
There's a lot of superstition. I am not getting into it. This is understood. The same way the black crow is a symbol of death and fear. You need to write this down.
Writing.
Ma'am, the
आप टाइम नहीं देते होते
It is irony that this poem is doing the deed by shaking of the snow and bringing about a change in the poet's mood. It is showing you the opposite.
Right. Snow is good luck. No, snow is positivity.
नहीं irony है कि ये crow और hemlock tree negative होते हैं positive
Positive ला रहे हैं.
Okay.
Thank you. One night you understand it better than what I tried to explain to them.
Yeah.
At least I appreciate that a lot.
Yeah.
Her, not you.
तेरी क्लास में इंग्लिश में पढ़ा था.
I'm sorry, ma'am.
You have the brain, but at times you get muddled with your own words.
मेरी क्लास में शायद.
Finished?
मेरी क्लास सब कौन हो गया?
आप पूरा पूरा थोड़ा लिखना ना उसमें like we need to put
Just write what is the symbol, the red ones.
हाँ बस वही लिखना है हम लिख
You apply it in the exam. Or you just write it and just leave it like a blank. In board exam, you leave it. Wow. Ah, that's what.
हम ये से काट करते हैं
What do you mean by that? Somebody else is coming and giving me.
I mean, read all this or read it from website?
Yeah. Search for a website and tell me. I'll go and download it from there.
अब सर्च नहीं मिलेगा
Where is it from? Which you can see I opened my personal list. Na?
You could have downloaded it.
है ना? I could have downloaded it. Yeah. I'll next time do that only download.
नहीं मैं
So why did
कैसे
you
आएगा?
so a lot
AI
of
वगैरह आया हुआ
articles,
है।
Why did I do what?
like that background and stuff?
I think that adds value to your learning.
अरे मैंने वो साइट में सब्सक्रिप्शन लिया है ना वो।
हाँ. See,
I'm
lovely.
Stop सोच।
Big start.
Finish. Can I go to the next poem?
Next poem. Direct concept. Just
Black
Nice.
To write the black through fast, no. But it is very, very, very relevant
Ma'am, poem over.
poem.
Robert Frost. Robert Frost, you know, his poem.
He doesn't write. This is a short poem. He has long poem.
Yeah, that one.
हमें textbook में लिखो ना।
But it was not taken.
They were not taken.
That is also.
Mama, उसका meaning was so good, so good.
अरे
It was
पागल
so
है,
good.
That's what I said. This also for 8 lines poem, but this meaning is also like that. As I said, in Robert Frost poems are very, very meaningless. Yeah, you bounce over your head, so don't talk.
पिछले साल का poem
हाँ,
के
पिछले
साथ
साल
I
का
was not taken.
No,
I
no,
was not
no,
taken,
no,
I know. Just now we were talking about that only. You all were in your own world.
I wasn't there.
I didn't bring any kind
Finish?
Yes, ma'am.
No man.
Yes, ma'am.
पूरा लिख लोगे तुम लोग?
हाँ ना।
नहीं लिखना। Red वाला part
पूरा
लिखना
लिखना है।
है।
पूरा लिखना है।
मैम ने बोला ना अभी।
I said red part.
अरे
Extra
Science.
Let me ask it.
Sorry.
Yeah.
क्या था ये?
I have no idea.
Hey, Rajpreet.
क्या याद है तुम्हें उसका?
अरे अपना बुक भी यूज किया साइंस का बुक की वजह से।
I read it
क्यों लेते
right
हैं?
in the
Base से base से।
अभी तो सब लोग बोल रहे हैं।
I did right fast up to the next poem.
Ma'am, you skip.
हाँ, skip.
मैम डन।
Skip.
Did you write the red part?
Red reverse.
Red part है, सब red part ही लिखा, सब लिख लिया है मैंने। क्यों में लेता है?
Ma'am, poem over.
So, how big the poem is? It's hardly 8 lines.
क्यों लेता है मेरा?
फायर ना सभी पढ़ रहे।
अभी Rajpreet
क्या बोल रहा है? अरे वो desktop story था। Well, he wrote the topic as fire and ice.
And now you're doing fire and ice. Where are we? In which world are we? More topic I'm saying. Where are you, Rituraj? You lost yourself for 15 days. You lost yourself.
लिया ना उसने। किसका ले?
अबे ये राजदीप सर दिमाग में तो आना चाहिए।
15 days. 15 days only you have crossed.
अबे कहीं भी तो क्या
Not 1 month.
Why are you not coming?
I was hospitalized.
Oh, what happened?
You all gave me a.
You got into accident.
Ma'am, how much was the bill?
He was sponsoring me.
I'll
I'll send you.
Ma'am, I like it.
No, I'll send you. You can sponsor
सच्ची
me.
में ये तो नहीं हो सकता।
You want to kill me? What? Tell me fast.
Ma'am, which hospital?
I needed a break from you all.
Ma'am, vacation.
Yes, you
वो
Say-
अंबानी का कौन सा है?
You all raised my blood pressure and this one too high.
Why अंबानी हॉस्पिटल? जिंदाबाद।
All right, again Robert Frost, fire and ice. Okay, what is fire?
It's like
Symbol of angriness.
Like it will
Okay,
Violence.
Ma'am, what is the question?
good.
Rude.
Desire.
Desire.
Greed.
Ma'am, what is
I
the
like it
question?
as well. When you're in dark, you lit fire.
Disaster.
Question.
Fire.
Fire.
Lust.
Rude.
Rude.
Greed.
Rude.
Sometimes
Chaos.
evil.
ये भी
Sometimes
करते हैं
chaos.
ये
It's
सब
fire.
fire
Like
है।
war. गुस्सा आता है, जल जाता है। War.
I'm bored.
War. Okay. Ice.
Ice. Fire is
Cold.
very
Cold.
Cold.
And fire is very hot and ice is very
Very good. Fire is very hot. Ice is very cold.
all the supplies.
That's the literal meaning. Fire is hot. Ice is cold. Fine.
ice symbolizes क्या बोलते हैं वो word है ना ठंडा
Peace. Ice symbolizes peace.
No, it symbolizes क्या बोलते हैं when you like
Cold.
when you separate
Coldness.
yourself from everyone, isolation.
Isolation.
Inside.
Cool
Inside peace.
पागल वागल है क्या?
Anxiety. They're not
Yes.
anxiety. And it's
Ma'am,
depressing.
What if I tell you your whole world is ruled by fire and ice?
हाँ तो वही ना मैम,
Yes.
ice is the peace and fire.
नहीं दोनों ही बुरे हैं दोनों ही बुरे
ये सब
हैं
लोग कोल्ड ब्लडेड मर्डर कहते हैं तो क्या वो पीस वाला मर्डर है
अब तो बोल रही पीस नो जो होता है वो पॉजिटिविटी तो स्नो और आइस
Dust or snow is different. It is a symbol of nature. He's again used a symbol of nature. But ice doesn't mean any positivity here.
Cold-blooded murder.
Cold-blooded
What is
murder. Cold-blooded murder is when unfeelingly you stab a person 20 times. Or without thinking about, people get murdered for 20 rupees.
ऐसी कौन सी बात है?
You read, no, because they are controlled by their emotion. They don't think about the consequences and they are impulsive. You read the newspaper. It is not yours. It's you
For
read
20 rupees they kill a person.
They killed a person. I am telling you, it was in the newspaper. You search. It was nothing. That person had basically snatched, and that person got upset, angry, and he stabbed that person.
I'm ruthless
Because we are ruled by our emotions, and that's what you have to. That's why I said the world is ruled. This is representing fire, and ice is representing your emotions. Ice is your hatred, your jealousy. Ice is something where you have this religious intolerance. That is what it is. And what is when when you talk about fire and ice, we always contemplate like how is world going to end. Either it is going to be destroyed by fire or it is going to be destroyed by ice.
Alien invasion.
We always, if you see throughout the history, they always that speculation is there how it is going to end. But if you see the metaphorical reason, it is going to be that only. How a politician ruling over you is through your emotions. You don't think about what the action is. You don't think that what that person is doing. You blindly support that person without realizing that that person is taking advantage of you. You see so many movies and Netflix. If you see Netflix, so many things. These these Asaram Bapus and all that. If you see that, they had blind supporters. They didn't want the police to take that person out. That but what that person is doing to that child or to that woman or to that anybody, they don't see what that. Why? Because we are blindly just
following
idolizing them.
and most of them do it in the name of something.
Yeah, and that's what I said. We are ruled by our emotions, and if we know how to control our emotions, don't you think the world would be a better place? We are always dissatisfied. We always want to achieve something which is out of our reach. The greed in us. Now, what is happening? Global warming is happening because of that. Why? Because we don't have place to live. We are cutting out trees. You see the temperature in Bombay. In itself, Bombay never was hot. But this last month, if you see, it shot up to 40, 44 degrees Celsius. Otherwise, Bombay never shot up till that degree Celsius. Why? Because again, we are destroying trees. We are destroying the climate. The amount of pollution which is going on, we are destroying it. It's basically why? Because human wants more and more and more and more. And that desire to do well, and that greed, what we call greed for power, what we say, that particular thing motivates us. And what are we doing? We are going in the destructive way. Understood? That's why this fire and ice has a deeper meaning in it. Because if we learn how to control, if we learn how to be satisfied with our own self, we will be in a better place and we can make the world a better place. Remember the story? There was a child. He was throwing starfish. One man came and he saw this child in the sea, near the sea, and what he was doing, he was picking up one thing and throwing it back, picking up one thing, throwing it back. And there were lots of starfish on that. It had been washed, this one. And this child was picking and throwing. So that why are you doing it? The man says, there are so many of them. He says, I will make a difference in that one person, one starfish life, one at a time I can do that. That's how you make a difference. You don't make a difference for the whole society altogether. If one, why do these leaders become so great? Because they do for one, but they start with one small thing and then they do it for others. Seeing them, the others follow them. So that is what, when you are going to be a change, you have to start with yourself and then the change will come. That's why we are ruled by emotions. We are angry, we are upset with this one. As I said, it was nothing. You think 20 rupees was, what does it mean? Hardly anything. One vada pav is not, it's not worth even one vada pav if you see. But as I said, that person didn't think in that passion, like in that anger, in that passion, he just slashed. And we destroyed not only his life, but we destroyed the life of that other person's family. Because he was the only earning member. You don't think of consequences like that. That's why I said this poem is actually very meaningful. Like the dust of snow, because we are going to be depressed in life, and it happens. It is not something. It's not every day I am very happy. I get up very happy, and I'm very this one. I will be depressed. I am, but I know when, certain things. A smile, somebody's smile can change my mood, and I can get out of that. And you have to search for those instances. There's no wasting time in becoming depressed and pessimistic. We have to search for those kind of things which get you out of that mood. And life is all about up and down. It is not going to be stable anywhere. Life is always going to be up and down. And that is what this Robert Frost brings to the table. That's what his poems are very, very meaningful. So here also fire and ice is all about that. Okay. So again we had talked about Robert Lee Frost, 1874 to 1963. American poet. His work is initially published in England before it was published in America. The same thing. This is how he looked when he basically died. Known for realistic depictions of rural life and his command of American colloquial speech, Frost frequently wrote about settings in the rural life in New England in early 20th century, using them to examine complex and social and philosophical things. Philosophical themes we are talking about just now. When we talk about we discuss. That is philosophy. Okay. Was honored frequently during his lifetime, Pulitzer Prize for Poetry. He became one of America's rarest public literary figures, almost an artistic institution. He was awarded a congressional. He got a lot of awards. This is one of the awards he got: Congressional Gold Medal in 1960 for his poetic work. Was named the Poet Laureate of Vermont. Vermont is a place, so he was named as the Poet Laureate.
What's an
Laureate is for literature, like who is very, very knowledgeable, who is learned in literature, that is a laureate. Like how a scientist is of science, for literature it is a laureate. Okay? Not only literature means full poetry, prose, all that. Okay. Now some say the world will end in fire. Now we always have this apocalyptic thing, right? How the world will end. So some say there are different opinions of people. Some people say that the world will end in fire. Some say in ice. From what I have tasted of desire, I hold with those who favor fire. He says, like what I have seen in the world, the desire of desires. He said the world will end with fire. That's a literal meaning. Okay? As we just discussed, fire and ice, we were discussing that. Some say fire, some say ice. So the first few lines, it describes how generally people think. Okay, this is the disagreement which always have, and there's always going to be opposite sides. Remember, there is always going to be opposite sides. That's why even in government we have oppositions. One will say this, the other one will say that. Understood? So there is in life, there's always going to be different people think different things. Got it? So disagreement in general society on the topic of how the world ends. The poet is merely stating that people debate on whether the world will be consumed by fire or frozen by ice. Ice and fire are opposite. If you remember, ice and fire are opposite each other. That most people have entirely opposing views. As I said, they will always be opposites. If you say day, the other person will say night. You will never agree. At very rarely there will be times you will agree, and you cannot make the whole people around you agree to the same point. Remember, because we all are different, so we have different opinions. So there always going to be an opposing. Like if you want to, for example, you want to become an architect, there's always some 10 people around you who are going to say, no, you cannot become an architect. Understood? So there's always opposing views. There will always be opposing views, and you should be used to that. Alright? They also represent two extremes which on a grand scale could cause immense damage and are fitting metaphors of harbingers of death. Harbingers is again symbols, okay, signs of death. So this also, because we are, as I said, we are ruled by our emotions, and that emotions are very, very dangerous. We do not stop and think like before taking any steps. In that in that passionate moment, we react. That's what he's talking about. That's why they are harbingers of death. From what I have seen the desire. Here the speaker provides his opinion. He equates fire. Now what is fire? Desire, greed, lust, rage. All these negative emotions, it's fire. So you have this greed in you, you have this lust, that other person has this, I want it. Your parents may not be able to afford it, but you want it. You are lusting for it. The deep desire, the deep want, what you have, that is known as lust. And you want it, from the deep bottom of that, and you will go to any length to achieve it. And that is what you have to control. Okay? You have this rage, you have this anger. Please don't do that, it irritates me. You have this deep anger. As I said, in the moment of that, when all your friends are going to hammer that person, you hammer that, you also jump in and you hammer that person in such a way that the person is nearly dead. And then you don't realize you just jumped in because the friend is hitting that person. And like for example, I'll give you a simple, in the classroom, somebody has teased you and somebody's called you. What do? You first go to hammer that person. That's the first reaction you do. You don't control your anger. That only that person is trying to tease you. The reason being because he's feeling insecure. You don't understand that reason. You just take and you feel like hammering. That's the first reaction. You want, sorry?
Sorry. You can do
It is that first reaction what we do. You don't see what was the matter. It may be the fault of your friend. Not your, let it go. Your fight is not between you. It is between your friend and somebody else. It may be that your friend has started, but you just came because he's your friend, you're going and jumping in. So many things happen because of your anger. You hit that other person, but after you realize that your friend is at fault. But can you take back that moment? Can you take back that injury what a child has suffered? Can you take back that particular, the blood? Can you go and, like how in the movie it goes back, zoop, 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 it goes inside. Movies, it happens, it reverses. Sci-fi movies, it happens, can you take that back? That person has already got injured, right? You can't take that back. And by saying only sorry, you can't take that back. Sorry doesn't solve anything. In that, why? Because you didn't think. You didn't think that whose fault it was. And you jumped in.
Also, like there's an example given when you crumble a paper, but then you just say sorry, and when you open the paper, it's already crumbled.
Yeah, it is. You can't take back your actions by saying sorry. That is what it is. We are ruled by emotions, and that's what Robert Frost is saying. That the desire, that lust, if we control, we can make the world a better place. But it is ruled. That's what he's saying. A candle or a fireplace shows a person the way. Correct? But the same candle can burn the whole house down. So how are you going to use the candle? The difference have you understood? A candle, when it is dark, I light a candle, it will light up my room. But the same candle, when used in a negative way, can burn the whole house. That is all. Its warmth and light acts as a guide. So you can be a guide. In the same way, small desires are no trouble at all. So you small desires, you want something, like small things. Okay, that it doesn't matter. That is okay. You want or maybe a new eraser, a pencil. That's a small thing. But you want a new car, you want a new house, and to achieve it, you'll go to great lengths. People do, for status. They do. They want to show off, they will do. That is harmful.
Like greed up to a certain limit is okay. Like if you want to greed to achieve something.
Yes. But achieving it in a wrong way is
Or harming others.
Yeah. So small desires are no trouble at all. That's why he said small desires are no trouble at all and can guide a person things they want in life. On a large scale, however, fire is dangerous and destructive. The same fire, that same ambition, what you have in life, can be destructive because you want to be powerful, want to be wealthy, you want 10 houses, 10 cars, luxurious cars. That is destructive. Similarly, uncontrollable desires pose danger and bring doom to the whole humankind. Why? This is what it is. We are talking about when I say people, developers. What do? That land which is supposed to be protected, they are corrupted. They will give some money to the government. They will give under the table, and that same land which is supposed to be protected for the environment, they will build buildings on the same land.
Case happened in Pune or London.
That's what I'm saying. The same land and the same destructive. So that's what it is. When it is small, it is fine. That is you're just progressing. But when it is big, it is dangerous.
And it harms others.
Yeah, because you're harming the whole humankind. It's happening. These developers, if you see, they have cut forest land. Forest was supposed to be protected. They are cutting through the forest to take pathways, and they're not replanting. They're promising to replant, but they're not replanting. They're cutting and huge, and those trees took years and years to grow that tall. And within a span of a minute, they are chopped down, and you are using it what in the name of development. So that is dangerous. So that kind of fire is dangerous. Because you are destroying humankind. I'm giving you examples. Remember, that's what he's trying to say. I'm giving you live examples of what's happening. You see, road development is going on all over Mumbai. You just check. They are cutting trees near the roads, but they're not replanting those trees. That trees which took years to grow, it's within a span of a minute it is cut, chopped, taken out, and the roads are expanded. But what is happening on the other way around? You are suffering because here the climate is continuously changing. What used to be pleasant in summer is now becoming terrible. And it's a slow degradation. And it's all about greed. It's all about wanting more land, wanting more power, wanting more money. So anything to achieve is that desire is wrong. Because you're not thinking of what for your own personal gain, you're destroying the whole mankind. Understood? That is wrong. That's what he's talking about this. It's a doom to the whole mankind. The speaker recalls the experience with strong desire and tends to believe that it is those kind of emotion and impulses that lead the world to its doom. Because it's not only one person, there are many people like that who will do anything for their desires, and that is wrong. It's not bad to have desires, but desires which destroys others is wrong. You see the slum areas, right? People are living that, but in the name of development, they are just taking whatever they have and they are just throwing them out and they are living on streets. Why? Because they don't want them to be dirtying their society. They are also people. They are also humans. That. Okay? Hence the speaker believes that the world will end in fire. Why? Because we are greedy, we are this. Understood why it will end with fire? Because we are out for destruction. Because of our desires, we are destroying others. That's why he believes that it will end in fire. Clear with this first stanza? Absolutely clear? So in the first stanza, first is assonance. You know what is assonance? When the single vowel sound throughout the sentence. Like I hold with those who favor fire. Like you see, O sound is very prominent. So that's why it is assonance. Assonance is a vowel sound which is prominent. Consonance is the consonant sound which is prominent. Understood? Vowel sound you know na? A, E, I, O, U. Vowel E in it's not actually, it's that A, O, ow, that sound which is prominent. So when a vowel sound is prominent, it is assonance. When the like B, the like that, all those sounds are prominent, that is consonant. So your vowels, 5 vowels are there, na? A, E, I, O, U. When their sounds are prominent, then it is assonance, and the remaining letters are prominent, then it is consonance. Okay. Alliteration, F and F, favor and fire, and world and will. Imagery is used. Imagery is visual imagery is used. You know what is imagery? When you can, through the words, you can see a picture. Okay, that is an imagery. So you can imagine, like you can say, taste desire. So taste desire is talking about our senses. Okay, that's why it is visual imagery. Anaphora is a repetition of words. Some say is repeated in line 1 and 2. So that is anaphora. When the words are repeated in the beginning, that is anaphora. Okay. You have literary devices questions also. So you should know these questions. Personifications. What is personification?
It gives human qualities.
To non-living things. So what have they given human characteristic to?
Fire and ice.
Fire and ice. Correct. Fire is capable of destruction. That's is personified fire by giving it power to destroy. Okay, that's why it is a personification. Enjambment, I just now told you where there is a punctuation suddenly in the middle of the line. Okay.
Ma'am, but fire, like, ma'am, but destruction is just like a human quality, right? So, how is it possible?
Fire is given the quality of destruction. Fire is not a living thing. Fire is a non-living thing. But you are giving that fire can destroy. That's why it is a personification. Okay. See, from what I've tasted of desire, in Enjambment, I hold with those who there's no punctuation mark. That's why it is an enjambment. Okay. Antithesis, when you put two opposite words next to each other. So what is an antithesis? Fire and ice. Both are opposite. That's why it is antithesis. Whenever I put two opposite words next to each other, that is a antithesis.
Far
Okay.
and near. Far and near.
Far and near. Correct. Then
Outside.
outside. But outside, inside, where you putting it next to each other? We normally don't put it outside, inside each other. Far
Tall
and near,
and
we
small.
put each other.
Tall and
Tall and short. So, symbolism. Fire is used for desire. Okay. And the phrase here, symbol self-destruction of human, and is enough for world to end. Simply means the desire is enough for self-destruction of a human. This is important. It's not written there. Now don't look at my face. Now do something constructive. Right? Okay. She's just staring at it. Read now. These in-depth things you should know. These in-depth meaning all you have to know.
Ma'am, and when we actually know these in-depth meanings, writing the answer is much easier.
Yes. That's why I said in-depth meaning. If you understand, then only you'll be able to write your answers. And metaphor, fire is compared with desire. Direct comparison. Simile is?
As.
Simile is as.
And as what is earlier, the particular comparison.
As and like.
What is the rhyming scheme?
Rhyming scheme will come to the rhyming scheme. It's at the end, I'll show you. One stanza at a time. Anyway, one stanza at a time, because one stanza you understand, then the next stanza. What? So good, na? You have three kind of tests. One is your abhyas, which you have 10 days to complete. One is a practice paper, which you should do Thursdays, and then one is your class test. Yeah. And but you have to do the assignment.
Yes.
You should do. I'm telling you.
All abhyas कैसे?
You have to upload the PDF
But
When those
from online. You open your
the PDF. I have PDF.
You have the question, answers. What are you going to do? Answers you're not going to send what? What rubbish? That also has to be corrected. No. No. You have to upload it. UT what?
It's a website.
Yeah, from there only.
Stand test series.
मेरे को तो secret site मांग दिया।
टेस्ट पेपर में जाके
अरे वो साइड लोगो में दबा
Now the second stanza.
मैम
I slowly.
सब लिख रहे हैं लाइन लाइन
अब ये देखो मैम अभी तो क्लियर है
And you were supposed to show me your analytical paragraph, I think so.
What?
Acha, no? Okay. Don't show.
लेटर बोला था
हाँ, लेटर बोला था वो लिख दिया. उसके बाद एनालिटिकल पैराग्राफ कोई लिखेगा नहीं, नो?
जहाँ बीच में लिखा था
हाँ, हाँ. You not. हाँ, letter. I told you how to use this one, but letter, proper letter. Otherwise, don't give me the letter for correction.
हाँ properties are proper
Last time I corrected it, you all made a mockery of the letter. It's not my marks. I remember that you all are sitting. It's not my marks I'm scoring. Analytical paragraph also I had told you before going. Write an analytical paragraph also. Finish
Yes.
these two. You wrote.
जल्दी
जल्दी लिख के बात
Did you write?
Metaphor is
Metaphor you wrote. Then I don't know why. And why I'm decorating the. Thank you. I don't mind you rubbing it out.
Done, ma'am. Done. I'm done.
Second stanza. But it had to perish twice. I think I know enough of hate to say that for destruction ice is also great and would suffice. So he said, if not by fire, definitely by ice they'll be destroyed. Okay. So he says perish. Normally it will means destroyed or disturbed. Suffer death, typically a violent, sudden or ultimately way. A great part of his army perished of hunger and disease. You can destroy by ice too. Ice represents hatred. Hatred is you by communal harm. This one is discord is caused. It's because of hatred. Why we say that community, if you realize in today's world also there is communal rights going on.
What is communal?
Fight between communities. I am a Hindu, you are a Muslim. Okay.
Communalism.
So you heard there is a lot of things which are there. Hatred. Why people use hatred as a weapon? in order, because either you are destroying it with your desires, which is, as I said, fire, that that longing, that wanting, that kind of lust which we have, or you can destroy the world by ice. Ice is your hatred. Hatred because you hate somebody else. Jealousy, yes, jealousy is also one factor.
So on the like the communist fight are like the part of fight. Right?
Yeah, it is. We are talking about, as I said, it's all about emotions. It depends on how you have to have control over your emotions. You have to know where you have to stop, rather than just letting go of your emotions. Okay, so taste is experience, suffice be sufficient, and great is your powerful. But if it had to perish twice and would suffice. On the other hand, he equates ice with emotions like hatred, coldness, selfishness, and rigidity. Rigidity is you're not good bending, you don't give in. This is how I feel. I will not bend. Life is all about compromise. It is not supposed to be you're holding on like this is I feel this way, I'm not going to bend. You've seen Kabhi Khushi Kabhi Gum, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Simple. If you see, I'm just giving you an example where you can relate rigidity when I'm talking about. You see Amitabh Bachchan's character, right?
Yeah.
You have which movie have you seen? Any movie you have seen? It's basically I'm not talking about. See, as a father figure, when he didn't beg. What he lost out on because he didn't give in, he didn't beg, he didn't accept. What happened? He lost out on his son's life. He lost on his grandchildren. The grandchildren this one grew up. Like, if you see Kabhi Khushi Kabhi Gum, if you see Amitabh Bachchan's character, that rigidity is there. That I will not give. I am correct and everybody is wrong. That kind of rigidity. That kind of thing is, leaders have. Some of the leaders have that kind of thing. I am correct and everybody is wrong. You are not listening to what the other person is trying to tell you. You believe that I am the only one who's the correct one and the other person is wrong. And in that, you destroy a lot of things. That's why we say leaders need to be humble. Because if you're a leader and if you don't have that humble, what happens? You will not listen to others. And if you will not listen to others, you will not take the correct decision. That's why rigidity is also harmful. You should know when to bend and you should know when to give it. Yeah, you should. That is life is about that. You should know when to do it. So he says he believes that if the fire somehow doesn't destroy the world, then ice could manage the feat as well. Ice will be successful in doing it. Because ice represents hatred, it represents coldness, it represents selfishness, and we are all selfish. And it talks about rigidity when you don't bend. You're very firm in your way. So he thinks that ice is equally dangerous and destructive. Our cold emotions are also destructive. But a fire, your ambition can be very destructive, and the other way around, it can be your hatred, and your selfishness will be very destructive. Because what you destroy the happiness of people around you. Like for example, if you're talking about uh, a joint family, like a family, not a joint family, a family itself. You are running after money, you are running after power, you're running after position. You forget that your family wants your time, wants your love. They don't do. They want your sometimes it's a birthday party. Your parents sometimes at times important meeting comes on and they miss out your birthday party. How do you feel? You feel left out. You're not loved. You feel like they're only running after their business. They're only running after that, but they don't have time for yourself, for you. Understood? That is also destructive. That is what it is. Like you have to have that balance. It is something that will chill the world, slow it down, and isolate each individual enough that human race simply cannot survive. We are a social animal, and if we don't socialize, and if we are only targeted in one particular running in one particular direction, forgetting about everybody else, as I said, in your family itself, there's a business meeting which is more important than your child's happiness. Then what are you earning for? Because we want that particular time. You will not want that particular toy, but you will want your father's presence or your mother's presence at that particular time near you to hold your hands. That is the innermost desires. We require the company of our loved ones rather than gifts. Gifts will make you happy. There is no doubt because we are very materialistic. We want gifts. Yeah, there is no doubt. Even I am. I am not saying that I am not. I am part of the human race. I am. But at the same time, if I neglect my family, if I neglect my this, then what I am doing? Then I am being very selfish. Correct? I am running only for making it comfortable rather than trying to satisfy that emotionally. Both of you, I am telling you. Don't do it, please. Okay? The potential of ice will be sufficient to destroy the world because everybody is selfish. In this world, everybody is selfish. We don't become selfless, we become selfish. That person will do it. Why should I do it? He's not saying anything, then why should I say anything? The other person will do it. We pass the buck every time. Right? That person will do it. That maybe that waste is thrown on the dustbin. I didn't do it, ma'am. It is not. I have not thrown it. That child did it. And it's your classroom, your hygiene. So that is what I'm saying. A simple classroom scenario I gave you. What I'm saying is we always pass the buck. What I'm saying is we don't see it's whatever the person, but you have used the change starts with you, na? It doesn't start with somebody else. If you start the trend, others will see you will follow. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, maybe not 100 times, but 101 times they will do. That's how you bring about change. It is not something but it will start with you. I just gave you a classroom scenario. Anytime the dustbin, I go and pick it up and throw it in the dustbin. Why? Because it is my hygiene. I like my hygiene. It has to start with me. I cannot expect others to do it. I do it. I don't like dirtiness. I don't like that dustbin, wrappers. If even in the dustbin, instead of going in the dustbin, it's next to the dustbin. That also you ignore. Why should I do it? I didn't throw it. But it is your class. You're sitting in it. That is always like that. Why should I do it? We are selfish. Very selfish. And that is what it is. You cannot say, why should I do it? If you're going to say, why should I do it? What about the world? The world is also going to be like that. If you are not taking the steps, who will take the steps? It's your world. It's not somebody else's world. You are living in this world. So that's what. Even though the speaker tends to believe in his destructive power, desire, he sees no reason to believe that hate couldn't end the world just as easily. Definitely hate can end the world just as easily. Massive, if you see, massive wars in history also were fought because of hatred. Why there was in India itself? Holocaust, Hitler's time, Jews. They massacred. Why? Because they couldn't tolerate them. They were massacred. That is hatred. Racism. We have in India also we have racism. Yes. And you yourself are a racist, by the way. We all are at times. I'm not saying this one. You with your comments. अरे वो काला है ना मैं उसको काला नहीं बोलूँगा तो क्या बोलूँगा? ये तो मेरा दोस्त है ना. So that is not being racist. That is not being racist. Even as a joke, if you're taking, I'm सबके सामने नहीं बोलूँ. But it becomes a mindset. It becomes a mindset because you nail on that insecurity of the child. You nail on that insecurity. It may be your friend, but you make the person feel insecure. And you are sowing the seed of hatred. Beta, it takes only a good leader, a good orator to change the person's thought process. Remember, why we are talking about, as I said, there are so many incidents in history will tell you like how many people were destroyed because of racism. How many? In India, there is lots of cases. You have a lot of cases like that, and it's a small thing. Up till now, in villages you go, they are not allowed. There are people in this one who think that I am high caste and that person is lower caste. They will make them sit on the floor and they will sit on the table. And if they sat on the table with them, they will beat them. That still is prevalent. That is still prevalent. And it is in cities also it is prevalent. It's not only in villages, in city also it is prevalent. You have doctors who behave like illiterates. अरे तू नीची जाति का है. They say that word comes out. You treat your sweepers and the peons as that.
No. ये नहीं होता. ये तो नहीं सकता नहीं.
Look at your friends. Look at your around you.
हमारे स्कूल के इंग्लिश वाले भैया है ना, मस्त है,
मस्त
मस्त है,
है,
मस्त है।
But then you look at your friends around you. See how they speak with them.
Sachin.
See how they speak with them. See how they treat with them. It may not be you, but look at your friends.
I'm हमारे स्कूल में.
Do you correct them? No.
I'm हमारे स्कूल में एक सर है सचिन सर, बहुत अच्छे हैं. पर कभी-कभार हम नसीहत से वीडियो निकाल सीधा प्रिंसिपल को.
Agreed. But then I said, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the way you treat other people.
मैं बहुत अच्छे हैं. जैसे बोला बिलीव कर.
Okay. Come. Imagery. To understand the imagine, because of strong visual, you should say the destruction of ice is also great, powerful. Great is powerful. Here the poet has used the word say, which involves our sense of speaking. To say. So imagery. Personification. Ice capable of destruction. Write these keywords. Ice capable of destruction. That is personification. Ice symbol of hatred. These words which I am saying you have to write. Ice capable of destruction is personification. Ice symbol of hatred.
Ice capable of destruction.
That is your personification. Okay. Then ice, a symbol of hatred. That is your symbol. Ice is compared with hatred. That is metaphor. Only these keywords write. You don't have to write the whole paragraph. And this is the second stanza.
No.
Okay. Choose.
वो the poet compares same fire a chance. Wait, ma'am, wait.
I told you write three words after that. Wait, where are you going on?
Why तो कर रहे हो? Slower I guess.
I need to write it in a complete statement. Read.
The poem is a debate among the people about the end of the world. Some say that it will be consumed by fire, while others believe that Earth will experience ice age. According to the poet, it will be consumed by fire. Here, the poet has metaphorically represented fire and ice as the strong emotions of people. It symbolizes fire with the uncontrollable desires of man, such as avarice, greed, lust, and rage.
Avarice is jealousy.
What ma'am? Never.
While ice with hatred, coldness, and rigidity. These strong emotions are enough to destroy the sanity and virtues of mankind, which ultimately will lead to the destruction of the world.
You know what are virtues, right? The positive quality is what you have. Good quality is what you have. But if you see in the moment of passion, you destroy your goodness. And rhyming scheme A B A A B C B C.
Rhyming scheme.
ABC.
That is a rhyming scheme.
Yes. A B A B C.
Okay.
A B C. B C B.
Alright. What is the next chapter?
Oh, yeah.
Ma'am, questions? Questions?
A tiger is a zoo. The next day, na tiger is a zoo. A tiger is
I
a
don't
zoo.
know, but I
इसका नेचुरल मटेरियल
Correct.
That's what I was wondering. What do you have?
was my age.
You know who's Nelson Mandela, right?
Yes.
Who's he?
Archetype says.
Who survived 28
Sorry?
years in jail?
No, say I got it heard.
The first
I
president.
President of
गाई
The first president
AMC.
of South Africa. मैं वो जेल में
He led
गया
the fight for
नहीं, नहीं,
against
गया।
racism.
मैं वो जेल में गया था ना.
And
I told archetype says.
Ma'am,
correct.
Mandela
The
became
first
I couldn't hear that. Yes, it is correct.
What?
Ma'am, the first black
Cake को जो
president.
बताता है.
Not the first president, but the
जो
first black
भी
president.
Okay. What else? What else?
What else?
He fought against apartheid for his
Yes.
country,
Ma'am,
for
he was a
black
part of
people,
ANC, African
National Congress.
And
First African president.
Full translation.
alright. So this chapter, what you're going to do is an extract from the autobiography. It's a part, extracted the part from the autobiography of Nelson Mandela. He's the first black president of India. It talks about an
India.
inauguration.
Not India,
Sorry,
Africa.
Africa. I'm extremely sorry. It happens. When I'm speaking.
वही तो
Alright. In this part of the extract, it talks about the inauguration ceremony. Alright. Citation. Citation, when I comes with a vowel, C comes with a vowel, I says S. Like for example, cell. Remember CELL cell, we say S. But if it is cat, K sound comes. Understood? So that it comes with I and Y, yes. It takes a S sound. Citation. Parts of the speech. Or this journey to begin to being a freedom fighter. It is talking about the struggle, this particular extract. And it is a tribute to freedom fighters and other warriors. Because life for the freedom fighter also was not easy. It was a great struggle. So this was a tribute to those freedom fighters. Okay. And as he said, apartheid. Nelson Mandela's fight for the society where there is no discrimination on basis of color, caste, race, age, or gender. We are still, though we are free, we are still facing this problem. Do you agree?
Yes.
And that's why this, again, why do we do freedom fighters like Nelson Mandela and this? Because it is still relevant in today's society. That's why you're doing chapters like that. And if you remember, anytime when you do literature, remember that whatever is like in that poem or in that lesson is still relevant in today's life. So,
With Taliban.
yes, it is still relevant in today's life.
Israel, Palestine.
Yeah, Israel, Palestine, everything. I'm telling you, that's why I said literature should look like how it is relevant in today's life and why are we doing that? You know, you always question why this lesson, why do we have to study, why this exam? But literature is why it answers the question why.
And why we have to study this.
Why do you have to study maths? Because somewhere it is training your logical thinking.
And
It is
also, if it weren't for maths, we wouldn't have this.
Yeah, you wouldn't have.
But we will not use trigonometry in our future.
No, you will not use trigonometry, but it is logically training your brain to think. Your logical side. If your brain is not exercised, you will not be able to think on your feet. It gives you strategies in life. It teaches you how to strategize. Every subject is training your brain to think and strategize. That's why you have to. Why do we learn? It's because of that. Because we are training our brain to think on the spot. Understood? So maths also is that because it's training the logical side of your brain.
And let's see most people.
Otherwise, you will be illogical most of your life. You will not.
I'm sorry for interrupting you. तो मोस्टली लोगों को पीसीएम पीसीबी देना है ना उसमें तो मैथ्स लगेगा अच्छा हाँ
ये कहाँ से आ गया?
फिजिक्स के
All right. Inauguration ceremony was on.
पीसीएम मतलब क्या होता है? किससे पूछ रहा हूँ मैं बोल रहा हूँ
नो नहीं
Read.
Inauguration ceremony. It was 10th May. Like pagal. It was 10th May. Nelson Mandela was sworn in as the first black head of the state, South Africa, for the first time in this country's history. So many international leaders came together for such an occasion. The ceremony took place in an open circular building made up of sandstone consisting of union buildings in the Pretoria city. The author was accompanied by his daughter Zelani. First, the two vice presidents took an oath, then was his turn. The author hoped for a new beginning with the help of his healthy democratic relationships. He also hoped that never ever the land shall experience oppression of one by another. That freedom rang loud.
Rain.
Rain.
R-A-I-N rain and
What is rain?
R-E-I-G-N rain is the pronunciation is the same,
but the word
but the meanings are different. Yes, it is homonym or homophone, what you call it. It means rule. Let freedom rule. Because unfortunately we have a lot of rights, but there are a lot of freedom which the other person doesn't get. We are the privileged society as in like y'all and me both. We live in a privileged society that we know our rights, we know how to utilize it. But there are so many who are like they don't though it is said they are free, but unfortunately they are not. You have farmers under the zamindars. You have the lower caste who are still treated like lower caste. They said government promises I'll give, but what are the promises and how much they get is just on paper. It is not in action. Read.
10th May 1994 historically. It was a spectacular array of South African jets, helicopters, and troop carriers in perfect formation over the Union buildings, demonstrating military's loyalty to democracy to the fairly elected government. The highest generals of the South African Defence Force and police paraded with ribbons and medals. Those who had arrested him many years ago saluted him and pledged their loyalty. Finally, a chevrony V-shaped formation of Impala jets left the smoke trail of the black, red, green, blue, and gold of the new South African flag. Two national anthems were played, the whites and the blacks, the lyrics of which neither group knew as was hated ones.
Yes, that was the irony of it. They didn't know the lyrics, but they hated it.
We were also singing.
That is the irony of life. The same people who had enslaved him, who had threw him in jail, who had hammered him, the same people were saluting him now. You remember in Republic Day, you have this V-shaped jets where they have they make Indian flags. Remember orange, white, and blue on Republic Day parade. You have this now.
Orange, white, and
Sorry, green, and the blue in the chakra one. So in that, the same way, this is the African flag color. This is how they made the formation, and this is how that smoke came out, an African flag.
Oh, there's that.
The jets, how in Republic Day you see in the jet, na, making the Indian flag, like that African flag was made. Yes, it is. But the colors of African flag, it was not the shape. That's what colors.
जैसे कि इंडिया फ्लैग के चक्कर बनाते हैं वही तो यार क्या हो गया ना सब
Read. You.
All about this struggle. Nelson Mandela recalling for the movement. Yeah. Reason for the movement was the exploitation of the black skin by the white people. He joined the ANC after the National Congress in 1943 and was sentenced to life in prison. He remained in prison for 27 years. He was released in 1990 amidst international amidst international and domestic pressure.
Yeah, so they were pressurizing to release him. So there was an international pressure, also world leaders are pressurizing that he gets released, as well as the people who were there in the country, they were also pressurizing, and that's why he got released. Otherwise, he was imprisoned. Life imprisonment is that means you cannot come out from the jail. And there was a pressure, and that's why they released him. He faced a lot. You know that if you're talking about the like even in India, they were called as dogs. Remember that we were treated like dogs. It was this one. There were even then we were. Yeah, even entering the theaters, even entering the washroom, even yes, they used to do that. So this twin obligations, when he took an obligation, what was that? He talked about twin obligation to his family, to his parents, wife and children, and obligation to his people, his community and his country. What does obligation means?
Right, duty.
Duty. Obligation is duty. Responsibility. So it talks about that. When he spoke about it, he spoke about two responsibilities. One is towards his family and one is towards his country. So he spoke about that. What was his duty? I didn't read.
Value of freedom in long walk. Value of freedom is known to value is not.
At what time lecture?
6 o'clock.
6:05.
It's okay, but I want to complete this. Chalo, read.
Freedom
So 1 minute, I can take one slide. This finish and then we'll stop.
freedom helps an individual to live with dignity and self-respect. It cannot be extended in parts. Freedom helps an individual to obligation. Freedom helps in civilization and humanity.
You're behaving like them only. I said pay attention here and listen. Freedom is known to one who is not free. The value of freedom. We are free, so we don't value that freedom. But the people who are not free, because they don't have that. You know, when you don't have something, you value it more. Freedom helps an individual to live with dignity and self-respect. You talk about going to other countries to work, but they don't value you because you don't belong to that country. And they treat you like dogs. Yeah, I didn't want to use that word because in Australia there are a lot of things that's been killed and they are facing a lot of racism. In Australia, a lot of cases are happening. Freedom is indivisible. It cannot be divided. It cannot be extended in parts. You can't give freedom in parts. It has to be as a whole. Freedom helps an individual to fulfill his obligations. Twin obligation, one to his family, two to his country. And freedom helps in growth of civilization and humanism. If you don't understand the value of freedom, you don't behave humanly. and we have lots of cases where inhuman behavior is seen by people. Okay.
Yes.
And conclusion: the brave man is not the one who's not afraid, but the one who conquers that fear. So that's a very good quote for you to take. With the help of this autobiography, the message of equality among mankind and the necessity of freedom for people has been given. That's it. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you and bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Go. Yeah, I'm tired. Go. Bye.
क्या कह रहे हैं